All right, everybody. So I am Charles Smith, the host of the T-Shirt Millionaires live show. And I'm just telling y'all, man, it just keep getting better and better and better. We got an amazing guest today who has done some outstanding and some amazing things. And I really look forward to sharing her story. This is Joi, the owner and the founder of Mahogany Mommies. She had an amazing year in 2020. She's going to have an amazing year already starting off this year, some really big plans coming up. And so I look forward to talking with Joi, talking about a story. But before we do that, we're going to go into this intro and we'll be right back. All right, everybody. So as I said, I'm Charles Smith, the host of the T-Shirt Millionaires live show. And today we got a special edition. This is Joi Cobb. She's the owner of MahoganyMommies.com. Joi is also a member of the T-Shirt Millionaires Mastermind. And I'm talking about a complete superstar. So I highly suggest that you make sure you stay around for this whole session. If you missed the session, watch the replay, because I know that she's going to have a story that's going to really inspire you. So without further ado, Joi, I appreciate you being here. I thank you so much for spending some time. Tell the people who you are and what you do.
Yes. Well, first off, thank you for having me, Charles. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm totally honored.
Absolutely.
I'm Joi. I run Mahogany Mommies, a T-shirt brand that I started February 24th, 2020 to be exact. I'm also a mother of three. Two of my sons actually own apparel stores as well. And then I'm a business teacher here in Brooklyn. Yeah, so, I could guess just jump right into my story.
Awesome. No problem. So let's start at the beginning. That's what I like to do. So you had, and before we even go to the beginning, I want to highlight this. You had an amazing 2020 in the midst of a pandemic. You've been so extremely blessed, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you've done some amazing things with your brand. Right before we hopped on a little bit early, I said, Joi, what was your revenue for the year? And you said, send me a screenshot, and it said almost 262K. But I want to know, before you got to there, how did this whole entrepreneur stuff start for you? Was a T-shirt brand your first business, or what did you do before that?
So I felt like I always had the seed of entrepreneurship. Always. Like I jumped into real estate for a little second. When the last recession hit, I was doing like short sales. I tried to even do like parties. I love the party. I love the host. Right. So like the seed was always planted. That was one reason why I started teaching business. Like I knew I never wanted to work for anybody else to get them rich. But I'm like, I love business. I love entrepreneurship. At least I can teach that as a service, So that's kind of where it started. And it's so funny because I would be in class and I would drop all these gems and the students are like, why aren't you doing this? Why are you just teaching it? Why aren't you doing it? And so, again, I guess the desire just got stronger and stronger. And I just really, I'm a big believer in prayer and affirmations. And so I just kept praying, like, I know it's for me, but I don't know what's for me in terms of what type of business to do, So the drive and the desire was there, but I didn't know what was for me, to be honest with you. And then my son, I started, really just watching my sons. And I'm like, okay, my kids are very creative and they're starting these brands. And so I was like, I don't know exactly what to do for myself right now. But what I can do is I can help their businesses, right? So that's actually how I took your master class, because I saw the marketing, the marketing, you had like the post come up, and I'm like, the least I can do is I can jump in and help them start and run their businesses. So let me take a marketing class so I could be more proficient in that. So that's how all this started, because I wasn't doing anything in terms of entrepreneurship at the time, but the desire was strong, but I just didn't know what to do, to be honest.
Cool. So no, that's dope. So you were a teacher, and you said, how long have you been a teacher, Joi? How long have you been doing it?
15 years.
15 years. So 15 years being a teacher, had this desire that built up over time. And I love the fact that you talked about, like prayer and affirmations. So, do you feel like that really led you? So did you gain clarity over time? Like, what did that do for you as far as just understanding which direction to go?
For me, it was just like I was praying for clarity in terms of when you recognize an opportunity coming, seize it. You get what
I see.
And so it wasn't so much that I knew what was for me at the time, but when you recognize the opportunity, seize it. And so again, with my son's brand, I was like, my son is dope. I want to help him market. And then boom, I see you coming down the timeline. I was like, this is it. This is the opportunity. Take it. So jumped into your masterclass last January, to be exact. And after being, you poured into us. It was like a 2-hour session. We was on there for like 3.5 hours. And after just watching you, other entrepreneurs, I was like, I could do this. This is for me. Like I knew the foundation was like, this is for me. And literally, no lie, Charles, as soon as I got off your masterclass, I went to work.
Word. Hey, so that's dope. So first off, I love the fact. When you talked about the whole prayer and affirmation, it's like that's my world. That's what I love to do and gain clarity. And I love that. You talked about seeking clarity, and when opportunity comes, you were able to seize it. You were able to notice it. I feel like a lot of the times there's a lot of opportunity that happens, whether we don't have a business or even when we have one, but there's something special about being tapped in and getting tuned in and recognizing things that are right in front of our face. So I think that's extremely powerful, and I think that's dope. So your kids, they wanted to start something. You ended up seeing my crazy self come across your timeline, talking about masterclass and Instagram ads, and you ended up coming in. And I remember you, Twana, Jen, that's the very first group, you know what I'm saying? And so it's probably about 15 people. And I remember going through the very first day and reviewing the brands. And did you have Mahogany Mommies started at that point in time?
No, I didn't have a T-shirt brand. All I had at the time was a website. So I had Mahogany Mommies. I started Mahogany Mommies, the actual IG page, a year before. Me and a girlfriend of mine started the page. We both had went through like a crazy year. We both had just had babies, had tragic breakups with our ex, and I was just having a horrendous time at work. So I started Mahogany Mommies just to like curate a page to inspire other women and parents. So, and then after going through, I went through, just to be honest, I went through like a depression and everything, happening. I deactivated my page for almost a year. So I did it for like 4 months, then deactivated it. So when I came into your masterclass, I had nothing. I didn't have a business. I didn't have anything.
Wow. So I didn't even notice that. Like I'm sitting here thinking that you might have came in with it, so you didn't have it. So, okay. So that's dope. And like you said, you got clarity. We had class. You said you went to work. So you had this Instagram page is deactivated. I guess you got back on. What caused you to put more time and more energy into Mahogany Mommies? You could have went several different directions, but what really inspired that idea to make you put energy into that?
Well, one thing I knew when I started Mahogany Mommies, it was like, I want to inspire, of course, but I know eventually down the line, I want to also be able to monetize off of this page. So when I started to curate the page, I already knew the demographic that I was targeting. So it was like I was just prepping that demographic. I didn't know what was going to come. I knew God was going to give me something.
Right.
I was just prepping the demographic for the time. When that time came, I could seize it. You get what I'm saying? So, my background is actually, my degree, even though I was, I taught, is in marketing. So again, I was just like honing in on my demographic the whole time, even though I didn't have a business yet. Once I got the T-shirt line, I was like, boom.
There, you was ready. You was ready.
Let's run it to Mahogany Mommies. It was already established. So I was like, why not?
So that's dope. So I want to talk about that piece real quick. I want to pause and stop on that because there's a lot of people who have t-shirt, well, not even t-shirt brands. A lot of people have their ideas, but they haven't built their store at. They haven't created any t-shirt designs. And there's this space before everything launches to where they could be building an audience. They could be tapping in. So when you talked about really tapping into that audience and building and connecting, what type of activities were you doing with the social media to build, to grow, to spread your message at that point in time before you had anything?
Well, just curating. Like I was doing different quotes and pictures of Black women and Black mothers that I felt like could relate to, especially quotes. Again, you know, me and my friends started the page because we were going through something at the time. So we felt like there's other parents, there's other mothers probably going through some of the same things, you know, same age. We're both professionals. And so I was curating quotes to speak not only to myself, but to people kind of, you know, who could relate. So I wasn't doing, for the most part, like any lives at the time. A little shy, still trying to get over that. But just curating. I was just curating and again, doing quotes and stuff related to my demographic.
That's dope. That's dope. Did you ever find quotes and different things from other pages? Did you go to Google, Pinterest? How did you find content to curate?
Hashtags. I would go to different hashtags. That's definitely one. And then I would just look for other accounts that were giving off the same messages that I wanted to give off. That was one big thing. A lot of them were related to like self-care. You know, when you going through a lot, you know, when you working and motherhood, and then when you being a single mom, self-care is one of like the most critical issues that we deal with, you know. So I was looking for pages that would inspire me, and then using some of that information and then, you know, curating on my page. That's why I can be a curator and not a content creator.
Ah, like that. So I think that's a valuable gem for everybody watching, right? And I wanted to hold on that because Joi, she built an audience. She tapped into what the message was. She found quotes. She found other pages. And the key thing that she just talked about, curator, not content creator, right? It doesn't always have to be content. You don't have to create it just from scratch. There's raw material out there to use. And that's exactly what Joi did on her profile and on her social media before she even launched. So I really want y'all to catch that because I think that's extremely valuable. So, all right, Joi. So we going through, you curating, you said you started building, and then you had everything ready to go once you launched your store. How was the store building process for you? Did you do it? Did you outsource it? Kind of what happened as far as building your Shopify store?
So again, when I got off your class, I went to work, right? So it took me 3 weeks to get my store up and launched. I took your class like the end of January, got it launched by February. And so what I did is at the time when I took your class, I still didn't know how to put a store together. So I just went off, I was Googling, using YouTube. So I reached out, I got someone with Fiverr to help me put my Shopify store together. Did a little information. I knew I wanted to start off drop shipping. So I picked Printful at the time. And then again, I had never designed anything before, but I was like, you know what? This is your opportunity, seize it. So you better just do what you can do. So logged into Canva for the first time.
Word.
Went into Canva for the first time and just went to work. I went to work and I literally did over 30 designs before I launched my store because I didn't know what was the average. So I said, let me just put out a catalog.
You went in with that. So 30 designs, you going through, and all of them was made Canva?
All of them was Canva.
Dope.
And again, never done any graphic design before. And let me just add that, you know, I think the story behind building a page is so important. Again, I was going through stuff. Then I was teaching during the day, all right? Not only teaching, I was over like all the senior activities. So I'm not getting home to 7. I got a baby. I'm putting her to bed 9, 10 o'clock. And from 10 o'clock to 3 a.m. almost every day, 10 o'clock to 3 a.m. every day, I'm putting my store together. I'm
hustling.
doing 3 weeks, 3 weeks, and then getting up at 6 to get prepared for work. All right. So I did that 3 weeks straight. So I pumped out designs, got someone from Fiverr to help me with the actual site. Yeah, that's what I did. I hammered through. Designs actually is what took me the longest because again, I was new at it. So
yeah.
But Fiverr was a great resource.
So that's dope, man. You know, the dedication, the commitment, right? You a mother, you are going to work every day. You just had a newborn. You know how that can be. And you coming home and you working from night to 3 a.m. to get something done. That's when you say there's no excuses, right? You had a no excuse attitude and you made sure that you could do what you're supposed to do to get that store up and start pushing towards your vision and your dream. And I can commend that, right? So, you know, a lot of people will spend a lot of time on Netflix, you know, focus on other stuff, but you put your time and your energy towards something that was productive, that has paid off so much right now. So let's walk through. So you finish, you got your store, you grinding it out in Canva, you know what I'm saying? You making all these designs. So once you go ahead and launch, how do you get it out to the world? What happens at that point in time? How do you start marketing?
So again, I had took your class. I took your Facebook class, and so once I actually launched, you know, I had some friends and family that came in, they supported. But then I started with the ads, right? So I had your master class, and then you know how you can go back and do the playback. So I literally, it took me 2 days. I went through went through the playback again, set up the ads, and then got the ads going. But then probably about 2 weeks later, an email, I see your email for the mastermind, right?
Right.
And so I knew even though I started the ads, I still needed some more grooming into it, you know, in terms of that. I needed coaching. I needed a team that can help me hone in on that skill. And so, and you know, one thing I want to add is when I launched the store and even when I jumped into your mastermind, I was financially strapped to launch my store.
So you bet on yourself.
But let me tell you, I was like, I've been through things. God ain't never left me without. God ain't never left me without food. God ain't never left me without a house. God ain't never left me without anything. So this is your year, Joy, to bet on you, right? And so I had just read the book, The Alchemist, and The Alchemist, it says, I read it over and over, but this time it like tapped in. And it was like, when you really want something, the universe will always conspire in your best interest, right? Use my rent money to put my store together. After I launched, 2 days after, I got my taxes. Boom, pay my rent. With the ads, right? I'm doing the ads. I'm doing them. They're working again a little bit, but I'm like, I need help. I see your mastermind. At the time, again, got a son in college, newborn, live in Brooklyn, still have a son in Atlanta. I'm, paying money there. Didn't have the money to join your mastermind, Charles. I said, you know what? About to use my rent again.
She putting all the chips in. The chips.
God helped me. God put me through the first time. Why am I not going to be carried the second time?
Oh my God.
Use my rent again. Pay for your mastermind. Right? Pay for your mastermind. You're going to make me tear.
I'm over here tearing myself, man. Oh my God.
Let me just tell you this. I have not wanted for a dime since then. I haven't needed a dime since then.
Joy, oh my God, man. Oh my God.
But I had so much faith. Like, we build these businesses, but not knowing that God is the vehicle. Like
Wow.
You can have a desire, but until you get decisive, until you really tap into your faith, like it doesn't happen the way you need it to. But like, I was at that intersection where I was decisive and my faith was completely in tune. And so I just bet on myself. You know what I mean? And so use my money for your mastermind class. And what I can say, I'm using my money for my rent for the master class. I mean, to put the store, using my money for your mastermind was the best decision I ever made. You know what I mean? And so that's how I got my message to the world, by betting on myself.
Joy. Oh man. And I can, oh man, I'm just, man, it's so inspiring, Joy. And I feel every part of it, and it's just chills going through my body, man. Your belief in your faith and a higher power to carry you through when you didn't have anything. You chose to bet on yourself, but not even bet on yourself. You bet on God. And you were faced with situations where you didn't know, okay, if I spend money on this or invest in this, I don't know where it's going to come from, but you had a trust that it would come from somewhere else, in the confidence that built from when it happened the first time, and then it happened again the second time. I think that's just absolutely amazing, man. And that's so inspiring, Joy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got tears coming. I'm glad I got my glasses on. You know what I'm saying? I can't show the real effect, man, but I'm just so happy and I'm so proud of you, man. So, all right. So you take the class.
Yeah.
You build your store. You put your money out. Mastermind comes out. And I remember I offered those classes at the beginning of January of 2019, or no, 2020. The beginning of January 2020. And I just had an idea. I was like, man, let me just try to teach. And so I went ahead and I did it. And I had probably about 600 students who went through it. But I realized that people needed additional help. Like, that 4-hour course was great. I put everything that I could into it, but people needed additional help. And I would get the emails and I was like, you know what? Let me open up something for 4 weeks for people who just want that assistant guidance. And I had never did it before. I sat at my desk. I recorded a video. I sent an email out, and boom, 15 people come. One of them is you. You telling me now that you spent your last money to get into it. You get the course, you start building, you start running ads. So how was the ad process for you at the very beginning? What were some of the things that were happening when you first got into running the ads?
Well, I was getting some sales, but every week when we would meet, one issue that I was having is that I was having plenty add to carts, right? But I wasn't converting the way I felt like I needed to. I'm highly, I'm a bit introverted and shy, but I'm highly competitive. Some people know about me, highly competitive.
Right. That's good.
And so I'm not getting the conversions the way, the way I felt like I needed them to convert, I guess you could say. And so, every Tuesday I'm asking you, like, Charles, like, look, like, what's up? Like, what's going on? Like, people are here. They showing up. They added to the cart. What's going on? Right. And then after, that was in March all the way till May. Like, my sales were picking up, but again, it still wasn't converting the way I felt like it needed to. And then it was so crazy because it was somebody who, you get guys dropping in your DMs. So somebody dropping my DM off. Trying to get at me, right? And I'm like, you ain't get at me. Have you bought a shirt yet?
Word.
Have you bought a shirt?
Come out your pocket.
Show me it's really real. So he told me, he was like, I keep trying to go on your page and add to cart, but it's not allowing me to add to cart. So I go on to my desktop and I'm like, I was able to add to cart fine. I don't know what you're talking about. So I kind of dismissed that, right? I want to say that was in April. Then here comes, I'm selling a shirt for Father's Day. And I had a relative, one of my older cousins, and he's like, Joy, I've been trying to add to cart for 2 days. Something's not working. You need to help me, right? So again, I had already checked the desktop. I'm like, okay, I don't know what he's talking about, but this is my older cousin, so let me look. So I finally go on my phone, and when I try to hit, every time I hit buy now or add to cart, it's not adding to the cart.
Wow.
And that's when I reached out to you and was like, I know what the problem is, Charles. People are adding to, like, if they hit add to cart, it's showing it on the back end, but it won't allow them to convert. Like it will never take them to the checkout screen. But other people who have bought before might have did it on desktop. So literally for 3 months, I had an issue with my add to cart and checkout buttons and did not know it.
Right. And I remember that because we would come to the meeting, and so we looking through the website, and I'm like, man, her designs look right. You got all the information that you need on these pages. Like, what's going on? And I remember just week after week, just trying to offer suggestions. And then I remember you telling me that happened, and I was like, wow, like just something easy, just like that. You know what I'm saying? We sitting here scratching our head for weeks, and it's something easy like that. So what I would like to say is, shout out to the man who tried to slide in your DM. Shout out to him. Straight up. He's a real MVP. Straight up.
Right? And I'm sitting here like, what? You know?
Right.
Shout out to him too. He no longer tries, but shout out to him.
Word. That's what's up. So, okay. So we finally get that blockage out your funnel. That's out the way. It's a little technical issue. So that gets done. What happens after that? After you figure that out, what happens after that?
So my sales start to pick up, right? But then right at the time this happens is when the George Floyd thing happened. Literally, it's like days apart, right? So after I got that fixed, I'm starting to see my sales pick up. And I'm like, this is, like many of us were tired of seeing this. And I just really come to a place, especially with doing a lot of work on myself, that I don't like to come from a victim standpoint, right? And I kept seeing the shirt, and not to knock the shirt, I kept seeing the shirt, I can't breathe. And for me, I looked at it from like more of a victim mentality, I can't breathe. You get what I mean? And I was like, I want to change the narrative and come from a different place. So I came up with the shirt, I will use my breath to speak up for those that can't breathe. Because I felt like that put me, that quote came from a more powerful position. At least for me, it did. And so I put that shirt out like 3 days. I remember being just ran by my mother, posted it at like 6 o'clock in the evening. I couldn't wait for the 6 a.m. Charles. I was just too.
You just let the ad run that night. Forget the morning.
Well, my mother, my uncle confirmed it. Let's run with it, right?
Yeah.
I'm no lie to you. I posted that thing, created like 6. It was posted by like 6:45. I want to say 30 minutes. Like soon as it got, it just started hitting all night. We didn't even know what could say. My mother's like, what is that sound? It keeps going off. Like whole family. And now take heed, when we build these businesses, we don't even really sometimes realize the impact it puts on our family, especially if your family has come from, my mother, she worked hard to take care of us. You know what I mean? And struggled. So as we're hearing this all night, all day, we just hearing this chime, my mother's like, oh my God.
Wow. She's like, what's going on here? Like, what you doing?
She was like, they're still buying, and that shirt took off. Like, I mean, like I said, everything works out. Like God is just so good. Because what if I would have created that shirt before I even fixed the issue on my website? You know what I mean? And I fixed the issue on my website. I promise you, it was like 3 days before.
Right.
It was like, I fixed it. We had class on Tuesday, and I believe I launched it on the Thursday. Right. And the shirt just took off. Like just water. That shirt took off. Like it was just like, and that's why it really can happen overnight with a T-shirt. I always tell people T-shirts are like hit songs. Just it's gonna bust. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's so, because I was praying, I had put a certain figure in my phone, like I had it in there to watch every day. And I had no idea that it was about to hit the way it did. And that shirt took off. It was massive. I did over 108 sales, 108,000 in 45 days.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. 108. What you said? 45?
45 days.
Man, one shirt. That's crazy, Joy. Like that, man. I'm so like, it's just so inspiring, man. And like you said, the theme that I'm hearing from this conversation, it just keeps popping up as you're speaking is number one, what's supposed to happen is gonna happen. And even when there's setbacks, even when there's things that it's like almost you got redirected, right? I mean, it came out at the right time. You got the right idea at the right time. And I love the analogy and the metaphor you use, like it being a hit song. It only takes one, you know what I'm saying? And I do my webinars every Monday, and that's what I always tell people. It takes one, because in my experience, that's what happened to me. And then when you find that one, people discover you and then they buy other things as well, right? So you know, that one can really carry and open up the floodgates. So for everybody listening, I want you to realize, like, try new things, tap into that creativity, right? Your T-shirt is just a blank canvas, but tap into that creativity, that higher inspiration that's given to you, and try stuff out. And you might find that one, you might find that hit song that'll take you over the hill and get you 108K in 45 days. So when you started that, Joy, because I'm sure it was even a scaling up process, when you ran it that first night, about how much was your budget like for your ads?
I started off with, I did 75 that day on that one ad. Because one thing I feel like we have in common, I've noticed about like when you run your ads, I'm a risk taker. Once I see something going bust,
you going.
I'm jumping. I ain't walking, I'm running. You ain't heard my story.
Right. That's a fact.
So yeah, as soon as I saw it took off, like I waited a few days and I just increased my budget, and being in my first year, you live and you learn, but I also realized like I could have went even higher, but it was a learning curve, because the way that shirt took off, I could have did crazy numbers. Because I mean, like I can tell you, I've had 2 shirts that have done this, but literally to start that ad at 7:00 at night, and then an hour later, the sales were nonstop. Like I was getting them all night, to the point I didn't even know how to handle it.
Yeah.
All night. And so I could have scaled, but I started off with 75. That was the most I had ever did on one ad. And I think the highest that I ever scaled on that was 700, but I was running, I'm still learning how to run the ads. So I was learning them to running them to different audiences and stuff like that. But yeah, I scaled really, really quickly, and I was doing drop shipping, which also brought some learning curves.
Yeah. So let's talk about that then. Let's talk about that. So first off, I love the fact you started with a budget 75. That was the most that you spent at that time, and then you scaled and pushed it up. And so and you saw the potential. You could look hindsight. You knew you could have took it so much further, but you're gonna have more, and so you're gonna know how to take it further next time, right? So with that being said, how was the fulfillment because what were you using, Printify or Printful at that time?
I was using Printful. So with me just starting, and then our businesses was going slower the first 3 months. Again, I'm just starting. So at this time, first of all, I didn't have all my flows, which are like my email automations and stuff in place. I didn't have any of that in place. I'm still like, I'm off the ground, but I'm not too far. I'm like a baby at this, so I didn't have all those different things set up. And so when my business took off again, I was doing drop shipping, but at the same time, COVID is here. So those first 3 months, my shipments were my orders were being shipped every 2 days. And then out of nowhere, probably about 5 days after my shirt took off, Printful was like, it's going to take us 2 or 3 weeks to ship out your orders. Then it went to 6 weeks. So at the time, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I just bust. My business is just growing. Like, how am I going to do this? So after sticking with Printful for 2 more weeks, and I saw that wasn't going to change, I jumped over to Printify. And then Printify days in terms of the average shipping order was looking better than Printful, because Printful got all the way up to 6 weeks.
Wow.
And then Printify, it just seemed like everybody just started jumping over to Printify, because I noticed within those few days within that week, their average order for shipping was just building, right?
Right.
So I think I stayed with Printify. I moved everything over, stayed with Printify for about 2 weeks. Same things start happening 3 to 4 weeks out. Then I'm like, okay, again, my business just started. You know, when you're an entrepreneur, you got to adjust and adapt.
Right,
you know?
right.
And then I reached out to Custom Cat. I just, you know, in our meetings, we were throwing out some names. So I heard Custom Cat and reached out to Custom Cat, and they were saying that we can get it out, you know, like, what was it, 3 to 6 days? Mm-hmm. So took everything off Printify, went to Custom Cat, and still had a tremendous amount of orders backlogged in Printify. But then I went over to Custom Cat, and Custom Cat ended up getting the shipments out a lot quicker. But the issue with Custom Cat was the quality. And many don't know that on Printify, you'll see one of the big carriers as My Locker. My Locker is Custom Cat, right?
Correct. Yeah, for sure.
Custom Cat was getting the orders. They were getting them out, but the quality was starting to really, you know, DTG is different than screen printing and, you know, moving the press. But like they would start sending out the wrong shirts. Before customers would even get it, some of the lettering was coming off. Even though that didn't happen to majority of the orders, it was just too much.
Right,
you know?
Right. I'm sure as a customer service craze, they were hitting you up crazy, huh? Where my order at? This, that, you know how the customers be wilding out, man. They be wilding out, man. You be trying your best.
And people don't even get it, like the anxiety you can get from those emails. So when you, like, that anxiety was so real, because I'm like, you know, I don't have my shirts in my hand, so I'm not seeing them before I'm shipping them out. You know, and I'm trusting this business to send out the best quality, and I'm calling every day. And in fact, me and like one of the head guys at Custom Cat, we got to the point where we were just communicating through Facebook Messenger. And because I was calling to check it, and so it was too many orders for comfort, you know, that were getting messed up. You know, majority of them were fine, but then those messages, those email messages was just killing me, boy.
Yeah, boy. I'm telling you, I know we talk about that in the group and a lot, man. These customers be wilding out sometimes. And like, it's just, they don't understand like the behind the scenes, like we do our best, right? And sometimes, like you said, it's in Printify or Printful or Custom Cat's hands, and we don't even have control over it, right? So that stuff can get stressful. But I think, you know what I'm saying, something that's important, you know, that you just hit on is you had an issue with one print on demand company. You adjusted and try to find another solution. You adjusted and went and found another solution. And I think, you know, you hit it right on the head. It's about being agile, being on the fly. We got to be able to move. When we run into issues, we got to figure out, you know what I'm saying, a solution for it. We always putting out fires, and that's dope to see and hear, you know, that you did that. So during that time period, you're dealing with that. I'm sure you got customer service overflow. Did it ever get to a point to where it just kind of slowed down and calmed down, and you were able to get a lot of that backlog out of the way? How did that happen?
Well, some orders I went in and I canceled through Printify and then put those into Custom Cat. So that's how I was kind of able to feel that. That was from like the end of June to July. It felt like forever I was with Custom Cat, but now when I look back, I was only with Custom Cat for like a month and a half, but I put so many orders through them.
Right.
Because again, I was doing my thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Then I made another jump, because when I start seeing that Custom Cat was messing up my orders, I'm like, I just started my brand. I'm just busting. Like, this is my baby. I gotta bring it home. So with being in the group, I remember at first I was like, nah, I'm sticking with drop shipping. You know, I'm a mother, I'm teaching. And then Jen made the transition. When Jen made the transition, I was like, oh, damn.
I gotta do something. I remember that. I remember that. She was the one. She made the jump. She made the jump. I remember that.
So I hit Jen up for all the information on the press, everything. I was hitting her up in the DM, you know, sending love her way because she was replying at 1 a.m. She was so in July, after being with Custom Cat, I was like, bump that, I'm about to bring it in-house, right? Didn't know what I was doing. So bought a press, just start, you know, Jen was giving me information. I reached out to Juan for information. And I just started buying everything. And then I also went to a print shop not too far from me in Brooklyn. And I was like, you know, I do very well. I'm coming from drop shipping. Can you guys aid me with, you know, I do some orders. You guys do some orders. Mm-hmm. So I started with that first. Like I brought some in-house. They actually taught me. I volunteered at the print shop. They taught me how to press. So did all of that. She showed me how to do the transfers, everything, right? Mm-hmm. So after they did it, they really couldn't hang with my volume. They couldn't. They couldn't.
You was out there moving units. They couldn't keep up.
Yeah, they couldn't hang with volume. So you know, after I transitioned the beginning of August in-house, and then I started doing everything. Woo! Issues with customers again because they couldn't keep up. Shit, I couldn't keep up. Excuse me, I couldn't keep up.
Good.
I'm learning the process. You get what I mean? Like, never managed inventory before. You know, for some reason at the beginning, I didn't have all the confidence in the world in regards to ordering transfers. I don't know why that was just stifling for me, but it was. And so I'm having to reach out. I'm emailing these customers like, look, I just transitioned to in-house to make sure, you know, that I can provide you with quality products and, you know, just stick with me. Like, you know.
Right.
So I had my son come from college. My other son, I was backlogged like crazy making my trans. Like it was crazy. And so we was in here every day pressing, trying to catch up, pressing, doing the boys. And so that transition, that's how I ended up coming from dropship. Like I just wanted to be in control of my quality. You get what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it was important to me that my customers, when they got my brand, it was like, okay, this is nice. You know what I mean?
Right. You want them to come back. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Facts. So no, that's dope, Joy. So yeah, you pivoted a lot with that production, and it reminds me, man, like it reminds me of my crazy summer. You know what I'm saying? It's just like too hard to catch you. You try to do the best that you can, but you know, you went for all these different places. Print shop couldn't keep up. You couldn't keep up when you ended up getting help, right? But you kept persevering and you kept pushing through, right? So around that time when you were doing that, around what month are we talking about when all of that was happening, when you got your press and everything?
So I got my press the end of July. I literally stopped my last order from Custom Cat like July. It was like July 30th, literally July 31st. I went in and took them out of my Shopify, and then I literally didn't do anything I didn't do any ads for like 2 weeks of August, right?
Right. Did you need a break?
I needed a break, but I needed to, like, you know, just transition. I'm bringing in the printing press. Now I'm going in the printing shop a couple days to, you know, see how this works. You know what I'm saying? So I gave myself 2 weeks to try to get everything. I needed my mailers. I needed, you know, just to learn the process. And then when I actually launched being in-house, I had another winner. This shirt right here. Drop this shirt.
Right. Okay.
Boom. Took off. Took off like, what?
Did you run an ad to it? Is that how did you know it took off? How'd you present it to your audience?
So what I always do with my shirts is I always post them on my page first, and I'll get feedback from my followers. And I had a crazy amount of likes for the shirt, and then so that let me know, that gives me the confidence. Okay, bam, I got me a winner. All right. So when I put it on, in fact, at first, fight was actually FUCK, but I had U and C as like a percentage sign.
Word.
And Facebook didn't catch it at first. So it, it went out and I was getting a lot of sales. And then Facebook stopped the ad once they caught it and made me go in and do like the confirmation for social issues. So I was down for another week and a half. Like I couldn't run that ad. And then I got right back up in time for the March. The March was like August 28th. Killed on that day. I knew I know this shirt and my other shirt gonna do well on that day. I literally put in a $600 ad.
Oh, wait, you went ahead and spent. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I did a $600 ad for this shirt and boom. I mean, it did its thing. It did its thing. And so, but take heed, I was still already underwater with orders, but I was like, we will figure it out.
Yeah. Facts. And I love that though. You know what I'm saying? I love the mindset. It ain't like, you know what I'm saying, you ain't shrink away from the opportunity because it was too much. Like you was like, okay, I see an opportunity right here. I'm gonna hit on it and we're gonna make it work. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. That's dope. But the big thing too, man, the obstacles, the brick walls that you just face from Facebook ads, you know what I'm saying? It's shutting down for however long. Like that's real business, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's a lot of the things that people, sometimes like put people out the game completely. They just like, oh man, like I'm done. This is too much, you know what I'm saying? But your persistence, Joi, you were persistent through the whole process. You learned, you grew on the run during the process, right? So I think that's a big part of it and, contributes a lot to your success. So you got that shirt. That's your second winner. It just took off like wildfire. All right. And did you run that over the next few months? Like what was happening with that?
So the shirt took off and this was the end of August. So again, I'm a teacher, right? So teaching is started my job. I went back in like the second or third day of September. We go back the day after Labor Day. And so again, I'm like, okay, I've been doing this for the summer. I've been overloaded. I have all these orders. Again, I'm a mother. Boom, here goes teaching now, right?
Right.
So we're moving into our Q4. And so I just felt like at the time, I'm like, it's a bit much for me to try to go full steam. Like I'm going full steam with the printing, with my T-shirt brand, but to run ads the way, I wanted to would be probably a bit overwhelming with teaching now too, right?
Right.
So literally majority of Q4, I ran ads probably 28 days at the most.
Right.
September to December, because I was still getting, organic sales. And then I was still trying to work off my lows from the March. And so I only ran ads for like 28 days, all of Q4.
Right. And you went ahead and just put the brakes on, right? But the thing is like you had so much going on. You went back to teach. This is one thing that I want to talk about. What suggestions do you have for somebody who has a full-time job and is transitioning, trying to have a business? Like that's a lot to juggle, right? Even when you said you first had your baby. So what were the things that allowed you to be able to do that, Joi? What would you recommend to somebody to be able to balance that?
Well, first of all, you got to be decisive about it, because there's so many times that we can give, excuses like, I'm too busy, I'm mothering, I'm doing this. But when you make that decision, it's done. You just figure it out. Like I have a shirt that says, I will figure it out.
Right.
I'm here in New York. I don't have any family. I co-parent. So I gotta tip hats off to him, because, even though we had our challenges, I can say for me that co-parenting has definitely helped with me teaching and me running my business. So, hats off to that, to her father, what I mean? I pay respect, because I know without his help, it would be a lot harder for me to do what I'm doing. He has it right now, so I'm doing my interview. You get what I mean? So that was one thing. But then also, like, one thing I learned about me through this whole process in the last couple of years is that resilience is my superpower. You know,
like, talk that. Speak on that.
You have to really become in tune with what your strength is. And I'm not the smartest person on the earth. I'm not the most artistic, but I am resilient. You know what I mean? And most people won't outbeat my resilience. You get what I mean? And I know that about myself now, you know? Even if I was tired, I had to cook dinner, put my daughter down. I want my business to work, so I'm gonna stay up and I'm gonna push. There's no babysitter. You know, my son is a teenager, so he's really about his own business. He ain't trying to, you know what I mean? Jump in, and he helps from time to time with my daughter if I need to do certain things. But, you know, it's just, I just make time and I push through. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I love what Paul said. He said, Joi smashing a lot of excuses for a lot of people right now. I love it. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. She has that no excuse mindset. She talked about resilience and just pushing through no matter what, no matter any obstacle. And you see from her story, she's faced so many different obstacles, but she didn't let that stop her, right? You know what I'm saying? She figured out a way. So, all right, Joi. So you know, we get into Q4. You run ads for less than 30 days. At that point in time, I'm guessing you sitting at what, 261, 262? That's where you sitting at that point in time?
Yeah, well, I was still getting organic sales.
Okay.
I was getting some organic sales from like one thing I've learned is like when you see something, for example, November 7th, when they announced President, elect Biden and Harris, I'm like, boom, I need to make a shirt. Right. I put a shirt on my site, it does very well. You know what I mean? So I learned from that. Then I learned there's certain people who's wearing my shirts who are bit influencers. When they post my shirt on their page, boom, I'm getting some sales like that. I'm not even running ads. You get what I mean? All these things are learning experiences. And at the time, I had never ran like any email campaigns or anything, Charles. Like, wasn't doing any of that, had never done it before. And then when I get to like Black Friday, let me just add too, these shirts became banned. When they did that social issues ban on November 4th, I couldn't even run ads for this. And even my Breathe shirt, a lot of times wasn't even being approved. So, and that ban is still on. That ban started.
It's a whole lot of that happening, especially with like the Black culture stuff. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that is happening. It's wild.
Yeah. So that ban has been on since November 4th. It's still on today. So at the time I was like, okay, I can't run any ads to my best sellers. So today you're gonna have to resort to an email campaign, Joi. Yeah, so I did that the night of Black Friday, and that opened my eyes to email campaigns. Like, you guys have been saying it, but I had never done it. And part of it is because I was just so busy. One thing with working and running a T-shirt brand, to be honest, you can't do it all. You can't. I was, and when I look back in hindsight, I left a lot of money on the table because I could not do it all, trying to focus on teaching and running my business. So I hadn't run email campaigns. I wasn't quite retargeting the way I needed to. So when I ran that campaign the night of Black Friday, my community that I was building with my subscriber list really showed up for me. Showed up. So most of the sales that I got in Q4 was from organic marketing and then from doing some email campaigns. Yep.
I love it. And, I think everybody listening, that's another, gem is something that y'all need to pick up if y'all missed it. And basically Joi, she tapped into the people who had already been buying from her, the people who had already subscribed to her, even if they didn't make a purchase yet. Right. And I always talk about like, the back end of your business, your emails, your text message, selling to your current audience. Those people have already experienced you. They already had a good experience. They love what you got. So why not drop some new things on them? And guess what? It doesn't cost you anything to get in front of them, right? You're sending an email, and that really was able to help you capitalize when you weren't running ads during Q4. So I think that's extremely dope. I think that's dope. That's dope. So you do that. That's Black Friday. And I guess for Christmas, did you coast? Did you cool out?
Yeah, I coast. I did pretty well that Black Friday weekend because I did campaign Black Friday. I did Small Business Saturday and then Cyber Monday. And so did all those sales. I think I tried to run an ad. Again, I tried to get this one put through, didn't work. So at that point, I was just like, and my son was like, Mom, it's probably God telling me just get these orders out and kind of chill for a second. You know what I mean? So I got all the orders out. But then this was crazy because everyone was telling me like, girl, you're doing too much. It's time. It's really time for you to leave your job. You know what I mean? And it was becoming very overwhelming. You know what I mean? Trying to teach during the day, have my daughter here, and then I'm working all night. You get what I mean? And so I remember Tawana was like, yeah, Tawana, I'm gonna make it to June. She was like, girl, bye. Master, you need to be out. So, I had faith in myself, but I told myself right after Christmas, from the 26th to New Year's Eve, we're gonna see what you made of, Joy. All right? Okay. Really see what you made up. You're going to get these ads. You're going to run email campaigns. This is the number that I want you to hit. Let's see if you can make it. Like, let's see how resilient you are as an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Right. To see if you've passed the test to leave your job. Right. Test, right? And from the 26th to the 31st, I did it. I was running campaigns, putting myself in front of my subscribers. I was doing, I made some more designs. Did some other ads that were picking up. And so I fell a little short of my goal, but it was enough for me to know that I had what I needed, what I mean? Yeah. To leave, to spread my wings and leave my job. In January, it was like, I'm just running off that same energy. January's been amazing so far.
Right. Starting out 2021 strong.
Yep. And it let me know that I have what it takes. You know what I mean? Like, I have it. I have it. So I can leave my job knowing that even if, it might get a little slow the other day, I have the creativity and the resilience to make it work tomorrow. You get what I mean? So I'm ready.
So you ready. We had a conversation before we talked there. So what's next, man? What's coming up? You got something coming up. What's going on with you?
So my goal is to really scale my business. Really, really trying to scale. One thing
hold on, sorry, Joe. I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want to interrupt you, but you talked about this leaving your job thing. Is that happening? What's going on with that? What's happening with that?
Oh, okay. So I didn't know. So yeah, I'm leaving my job. I'm going on leave as of next week. It's funny because the principal called me today. It was like, "What are you doing? Like, do you plan on you want to go on leave?" And I'm like, so I'm going to go on leave with my job that way. And then at the end of the year, I am fully retiring.
Hey, I need y'all, everybody listen, everybody out here in the audience, y'all need to give this woman a round of applause, man. Y'all listen to this story. If you don't pick up no inspiration, nothing, listen, bro. Y'all listen. She's about to leave a job. She done came so far. Joy, you deserve it. You deserve it. And you have no idea how much your story is inspiring so many people that are listening right now who's going to watch this. And you went through the test. You went through the ups. You went through the downs. And you are right where you are right now. And you thriving. And God carried you. So congratulations to you, Sheldon. Congratulations, man.
The big thing, I think I told you before, I always had to see the entrepreneurship, right? But I think the biggest test is like sometimes we don't even realize, I told a friend this who very smart, very creative, want to start her own business. But I told her we often said, this is kind of going back to the spiritual tip, that we believe in God and we have faith, but we don't actually like act in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't we believe in God. have faith, but it's like, do you really? You get what I'm saying?
Do you really?
Really, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just about saying it, it's about moving in that faith and moving in that, you know, with action in terms of having it. And, you know, again, going through some hard, I went, woo, my last 2 years was like backbreaking. You know, I didn't point this out, but, you know, I went, like I said, the ugly breakup. I had a boss who was like, woo, I was going between courtrooms with him and courtrooms with her for harassment.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
So,
wow.
it's like when you go through all that, when God brings you out of that, yeah, I can fly. I can do anything at this point. you know,
you tough, man. It's that same. I say pressure bust pipes or pressure make diamonds, man. And you shining. You know what I'm saying? At the end of you shining now. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, when I tell my story, I always say like I turn that pain into power, because you know, sometimes it really takes those lessons and that adversity for you to truly know where you're, you know, what you have. You know what I mean? And it also kind of takes, you know, in education, it's an acronym called IEP, which is Individual Education Plan. And we all move with one, right? And God, just like in school, they have to switch, you know, use different strategies to help people learn. And I feel like God does the same thing with our own, and you know, our own IEPs. We go through certain lessons to really kind of mold us into who we need to be, so we can take advantage of all the things that have been prepared at our table. You get what I mean? And unless I went through what I went through, I wouldn't be sitting right here with you right now, Charles. So I give thanks for that. You know what I'm saying? I give thanks for that. And I wouldn't be so confident now to be able to say, you know what, I can leave my job because I know how to provide for my own livelihood, and I'm financially independent at this point. You get what I mean?
Right.
So those lessons, no lessons, you know, all lessons, no losses, because it allowed me to get to where I am now, and I'm thankful, and I'm thankful that God put people in my you know, in my life, you and everybody else in like T-Shirt Millionaires, to help me get to where I am right now.
Right. That's powerful. You're so equipped now. You're equipped. You got a swag about you. You got confidence. You know how to make it work. I love it, man. I love it. So inspiring. 2021. We know what you about to do, but let's go back to what I interrupted you on before. What next? What do you envision? Where are you planning to take this? Where are you going with it?
So with leaving my job, I definitely want to scale Mahogany Mommies. One thing that I feel like it's a bit unique about my brand is that I started off just catering to, well, my demographic was Black women, right? And my sons were like, Mom, won't you know, there's a lot of other people who want messages in terms of showing love and respect for Black people. You get what I mean? And so one thing with my ads that helped for, you know, in terms of my success with my ads is I started switching up my demographic. Like I added variety. You know, I started to diversify my demographic. So not only was I focusing on Black women and Black people, but then I start also shooting towards people of other you know, other demographics, other races, and they came in full-fledged, like
smarten up, open the market up. Yeah.
And so, you know, my sons were at me, you know, for like 2 months. You should just, you know, cater to everybody, dude, you know. And so I have white women now loving the shirt that says inspired by a Black woman. You know, and I had a friend, and I was like, well, how do I, you know, everybody uses the word pivot. And I'm like, well, I was, you know, catering towards Black women, Black mothers when I started my page. And now you know, my demographic is very, very diverse. And she was like, you're in a powerful place because you got a lot of people of a lot of other races who want to show their love and their respect for Black women and Black people, and they would love to wear messages that convey that. You get what I mean? Like, I'm gonna
go to your website. I pulled out your website. Let's here. So I see it. I see the pictures. These right here. This what we got going on. This what you talking about?
What? Yes.
I
Yes.
love it. I love it. That's beautiful. That's
When you-
beautiful.
I
That's
mean,
beautiful.
I have a shirt that says "Let's have a conversation." It was actually a Black principal and his white colleague reached out to me and was like, "We would love to see that on the shirt. Let's have a conversation." And I put that on there, and it, the beautiful thing about this is, especially coming from a teacher point of view, you're going to find that in a lot of these urban schools, especially like, for example, here in New York, a lot of the teachers come from other races, a lot of white teachers. You get what I mean? And to walk up in the classroom and to wear a shirt that says, again, inspired by a Black woman, listen to a Black woman, Black history is everybody's history. As a student, I could tell you, they're probably looking like, okay, this person might really care for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This person might be able to really try to understand me or try to understand me. You get what I mean? So I just think it's a powerful tool to be able to, and to give that voice to certain people who are coming into that. You get what I'm saying? So I really want to scale that, be able to reach people of all races, still celebrating Black culture, because that's what I do. I'm a very proud Afrocentric Black woman.
Okay.
So I still want to push that. But yeah, I want to scale. I plan on starting another line soon. So I want to have 2 stores. Literally within like the next few weeks, I plan on launching my other store.
I love
it.
I love it. I love
and
it.
Bringing on family. When I was doing the print shop, one of the owners, she's just dope, and she was telling me, she was like, Joy, in order for you to truly scale and be successful the way you envision, you got to share the wealth. Like, she would keep pushing that on me. Like, you just can't do it all by yourself. You got to share the wealth. I know you're resilient, but you got to, open yourself up for help. So like my brother-in-law, he's coming on to help me. I reached out to a former student. She took my customer service in October, so she's been running that. A student who I always knew would help me and do her thing in the classroom, so she's been great. So yeah, just scaling and bringing on a team. You know what I mean? Like, that's my goal, because I really feel like I can really push this and scale it. You know what I mean? Right. I feel like I'm sharing are important.
Right. Absolutely. So major boss moves, and I can see the growth and I see the vision. And Joy, just know your life is an inspiration. Your journey is an inspiration. I know you probably know it, but this is an inspiration to me, and I know for so many people that are gonna watch and just listen, and pure gold and good vibes and great energy and hope and joy came out of your mouth today. You know what I'm saying? And this was amazing. So, with that being said, I want you to, what would you leave to the person who's starting up, for the person who is struggling, for the person who is running into obstacles and things aren't going their way? We saw from where you began all the way in a year, so much has changed. What would you tell that person who's at the beginning stages, or even an older, a previous version of you in their journey? What would you say to them?
Consistency is the cheat code. All right. Consistency. You're going to have days, you see all the trials and tribulations. You're going to have days where you're tired. You're going to have days where your family and your friends don't support you. You're going to have days where you're like, how am I doing this all? I'm tired. I just want to be still. But consistency, like, if you made that decision, stick to it. And the best way to stick to it is being consistent. You know what I mean? I think that's my biggest gem, just being consistent. Because, I'm scaling, and I pray, I know my business, based on my faith, I feel like it's going to do well, but I'm still going to have some trials and tribulations with, with learning. You get what I mean? With scaling comes learning, and, I just can't give up. I just got to keep going. At this point, there's no other option. There ain't no other option.
It ain't no turning back. It ain't no turning back. You done came too far to turn back at this point in time. Right.
Let me tell you this. I ain't going back.
Right. It don't even make sense. It don't even make sense.
When once you start doing well, and I'm just keeping it real. Like, my daughter, I shared this in the group one day, and as a mom, and I'm just being, I'm transparent. I feel like being transparent helps other people. I was paying my rent in Brooklyn. My sons were finishing school in Atlanta. I was paying Atlanta. My son was about to go to HBCU. Finance, I was strapped. You know what I mean? And being able to go in and buy a bike for my daughter and not even thinking about money in the bank, like no thoughts, like whatever bike you want. You know how good that felt?
Man, beautiful.
It's, and I ain't going back. So wow. I had no choice but to be consistent. My family, my legacy is dependent on me. So there's no other option. But consistency, you're gonna have hard days. Just have faith and be consistent. That's it.
Right. I love it. Well, Joi, I appreciate you so much, and I thank you for sharing your story with us and spending this time and opening up your heart and your soul to the audience. And this has been an amazing conversation. And as I said a million times, I'm super proud of you, and I just wish many, many blessings upon what you do. So with that being said, where can the people find you? And we're gonna go ahead and sign out.
Well, definitely follow my page, Mahogany Mommies, there. Mm-hmm. And then my personal page is Mahogany's Joy. So either one of those things, you can find me. You ever have questions, I'm here.
Awesome. Amazing. Well, no, Joi, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And we'll definitely be in touch. We'll be talking, and congratulations. We appreciate you. All right.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Talk soon. All right. Bye. Yeah, y'all listen, man. If y'all ain't inspired by that, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't pick up nothing from that, come on, man. Joi started. You see where she started. You see how she grinded. You see how she took things to the next level. You saw how she believed in herself, right? You saw how she faced obstacles and she continued to maneuver. Right? You see how she bet on herself when she was at her last. She bet on herself, and she believed in herself, and she believed in a higher power that carried her to where she is now. How she grew, how she developed, how she had to learn on the fly. There's so many different lessons that she spoke and she shared throughout this whole process. I want y'all to really pick those up. I want you to take them to heart. She's a real life example, a real life inspiration to T-shirt brand owners who are at the very beginning stages and they're trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? She's an example, an epitome of opportunity and possibility. All right. So I'm so excited, man. I'm so happy that she shared that journey with us. That was amazing. I'm always appreciative of everybody who watches this. This is turning into something that I had no idea that it would even turn into, right? I'm appreciative of the energy and everybody just sharing their background and their personal experiences to add into your lives. And I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep reaching out. And I just feel blessed. Every time somebody tells me, yes, Charles, I do it, I just say, thank God. You know what I'm saying? And I just love how it's turning out. So y'all go follow Joi, Mahogany Mommies. All right. Go follow on Instagram. Check her out. Follow her. She's doing great things. And listen, y'all go make sure y'all go cop a shirt. She got shirts for everybody now. We talked about that. Y'all go to the website. Don't just take all this inspiration she gave and run with it. Go buy one of them shirts, man. We got Black History Month coming up. Go buy a shirt, man. All right. Y'all go check that out. So with that being said, man, I'm about to sign out, y'all. I truly appreciate it. For anybody who's looking to grow, for anybody who wants support, for anybody who wants community, for anybody that wants mentorship, the T-Shirt Millionaires Mastermind is open for enrollment. If you're interested in enrolling, go to my Instagram, click on the link in my bio, sign up for one of the webinars. I love to tell you about the program, and if it's a right fit, I would love for you to be a part of it. We're growing, we're expanding. We have a great group. It's positive energy. There's power in proximity. We would love for you to be a part of the group and part of the family. With that being said, y'all, if you don't follow me on Instagram, come follow me on Instagram, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you find value in these conversations, we'll be having more. And I want to make sure that you get notified as we continue to do them. I appreciate it. Many blessings. Sales and success. Keep doing what you're doing. Follow your purpose. And remember, if you can see it in your mind's eye, one day you can see it with your real eyes. Peace, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. Have